The game kind of started off, and you could tell right away that DeMarcus Cousins was going to struggle. Here we can see this should be an automatic pin down for Klay Thompson, but instead he just focuses on getting the ball back, screws up a little bit of the spacing, gets the ball on the attack, and then just passes it to the Raptors. The next possession, we get a steal, but then DeMarcus Cousins gives it right back to the Raptors in transition with a really bad turnover. And then again, on this little kick out, this should be an automatic kick to Draymond Green and get the ball moving. Instead, Danny Green's able to help out and get the steal from DeMarcus Cousins. In this scenario, this is an automatic screen for Klay Thompson. Anytime you reverse the ball in the Warriors offense, it should be automatically looking for a weak side pin down. Then they put him in ball screen defense. Lowry gets downhill and hits a floater. In the third quarter, you can see trying to post him up early and just another really bad turnover and just a really struggling night for DeMarcus Cousins. A weird thing that I noticed early in the game was Steph's mechanics were just off a little bit, and he was a little bit hesitant. We can see in a couple of these examples, he just isn't as clean and as smooth as he normally is, and it even looks kind of mechanical. When he steps into his shot, it's not one single motion where he loads and fires. It's more mechanical and sort of choppy, which was really, really strange. One of the serious issues that the Warriors have without Kevin Durant is a third option from outside the paint. Frankly, Draymond Green and Iguodala are left open on purpose, and the Raptors are kind of encouraging them to shoot these threes, knowing that they'll live with these shots as long as Steph and Klay aren't shooting them. Even when the Warriors had really good ball movement and created advantage, it wouldn't matter because the Raptors could overload or double or triple team on the players who were open in Steph and Klay and sag off of non-shooters like Livingston, Draymond Green. So even if they have good ball movement, they couldn't capitalize off of it. Now, the Warriors did have some success early in the first half. We can see them run floppy here, get two on the ball. Draymond finds Looney for the layup. Steph was able to get open off of this stagger screen or a double screen off the ball from Draymond and Looney. Got a clean look off of that. And in transition, Klay was able to get a couple of good early threes. Here we see their pin-in philosophy, the early pin down in transition for Klay. And then another time we find Klay Thompson sprinting to the corner, attacking early. And a lot of these were off of missed shots by the Raptors. Here we see a good slip by Looney when he's screening down for Steph that allows him to score a layup. And then another example where DeMarcus Cousins didn't do this. Looney finds Steph, screens down, slips for the layup. Now let's look at how the Raptors defended Steph Curry. A big point of emphasis that they tried to do was almost like a James Harden type defense was force him off the three-point line. Here we see both Lowry and Siakam attack Steph when he's shooting a three. Siakam does a good job staying attached and then blocking the shot. Here, when Steph has a little advantage, Kawhi jumps to the ball and forces Steph to give it up. And since Steph is such a willing passer, putting that early pressure and some of this ball pressure to force him to give the ball up allowed the Raptors to really take advantage of some of the poor spacing that the Warriors have in their natural offense right now. So, for instance, whenever Steph is bringing the ball up, Danny Green, Ibaka, Siakam would all load to the ball, even triple teaming him like we see here. And because the Warriors don't really have any other shooters besides Klay Thompson on the court, all the Raptors have to worry about is staying attached to Klay and forcing Steph off the three-point line. After the abrupt commercial break, we see Steph getting trapped here. And then after this offensive rebound, the Raptors are going to flow to their box-and-one defense they played in Game 3. And you can see that box set up here with Van Vliet denying Steph Curry. And this really works because the only real offensive threat on the floor from outside of, 15 feet is Steph Curry. So what Steve Kerr did was actually sub Quinn Cook in after this to try to get another outside threat. Although Quinn Cook had struggled from three in this game, they still do a good job hitting Livingston in the high post and getting Cook an open look from three. He ended up just missing it. And then we can see here how the Raptors are really, really forcing Steph to make decisions, but what I love here is on the catch, Ibaka and Green are both there, forcing Steph to give it up. And this just really made Steph Curry work. And what you can see here is late when they're down 10, he gets a little advantage, does a little sidestep, and then just airballs and kind of flicks the shot and doesn't shoot his normal shot because he's tired. let's look at the Warriors' ball screen defense, which to me told a lot of the story of this game. You can see here, when the Warriors switched on 17 possessions, they only gave up 6 points. When they trapped on 8 possessions, they gave up 11 points. When they dropped or sagged the big in pick and roll, they had 7 possessions, they gave up 7 points. When they hedged, they had 6 possessions that gave up 14 points, which is just terrible. So looking at those numbers, we can see here, when they switched, it actually worked, and it worked pretty well. Whether it was DeMarcus Cousins or Kevon Looney or even Andrew Bogut at times, the switching really forced the Raptors to take some pretty bad shots and some shots late in the shot clock. Where the Raptors really took advantage of this is when they trapped Kawhi in this situation. We can see they hit Ibaka on the roll, pass right back to Ibaka for a dunk. And then again, Danny Green involving Steph Curry in a ball screen, hit Danny Green on the roll. We get a trap on him, and then Siakam hits a nice mid-range jumper. When they hedged or basically tried to get the bigs up in the pick and roll, it was just almost a layup every single time. It was really, really bad defense. Lowry was able to turn the corner, hit Kawhi for a corner 3, turn the corner and hit Siakam on the roll. It was just a clinic by Lowry in the fourth quarter. The Raptors' offense really took advantage of some early push and basically early drives by especially Kyle Lowry. Here you see the extra pass to Kawhi Leonard for the corner 3. These early pushes really put pressure on Golden State in their defense and just allowed for easy scores. And frankly, it also played a big factor in tiring the Warriors out. They usually got the ball to the opposite three-point line with around 20 seconds left on the shot clock. So within 3 to 4 seconds, they were pushing the ball and getting it ahead. Here we see Siakam in transition, getting an and one. They just did a really good job of taking it to the Warriors. It wouldn't be a proper breakdown of this game without talking about the brilliance of Kawhi Leonard. Here we can see him getting in the lane, doing a great job having pivots and patience and knocking down the mid-range jumper over McKinney, and then pushing ahead for early 2-for-1, capping off a 14-point first quarter with a 3. And then in the third quarter, the first 2 possessions coming out, making an absolute statement, drilling a transition 3 in Draymond Green's face, then coming down, defending Draymond on the post, stripping him here on this kind of a lazy situation with Draymond, then attacking right back in transition and then knocking down another 3 in Draymond's face, which was just absolutely unbelievable. One of the things that I love about Nick Nurse and their strategy was to keep Kawhi in basically the whole first and third quarter, because that guaranteed a matchup against McKinney. And because Kawhi was so effective against him, Steve Kerr had to put Iguodala back in the game, and we can see Kawhi was battling a fatigued Iguodala. What I love on this drive is how he puts both his arms out, similar to how Harden does when he drives. And it may have been ball here, but it looks like a foul when you see it on replay. Kawhi was able to then take advantage of when they started to trap him. Here we see in a rotation situation, Steph Curry gets matched up on Ibaka, who had a great game and hit a mid-range jumper. Now let's look at the sequence that I feel like really won the Raptors the game. Here we can see Ibaka set a high ball screen for Van Vliet, rolls right to the rim unimpeded because the Warriors have their smaller version of their lineup out there. Now after the box and one is played, Quinn Cook misses a pull-up jumper, Kawhi gets the rebound and then takes it the other way. In this cross-match scenario, Draymond has to guard Kawhi with this lineup, and Draymond does a terrible job of staying with him, ends up fouling and putting him at the free throw line. Here we see Steph miss a long, deep 3, which Ibaka did a solid job of defending there. Now Kawhi is going to attack in against Livingston. No match there. He knocks down the pull-up. This time, the Warriors trap Kawhi, who ends up finding Norm Powell. Warriors do a good job rotating out of this, contesting the shot, but then Livingston just dribbles it off his foot out of bounds. Now we get Van Vliet and Ibaka in a pick and roll. Ibaka slips. Draymond stays attached. Clay hesitates for just a second, and that leaves Kawhi flashing to the short corner or the porch and hitting a pull-up jumper. Fast forward to the fourth quarter. The score is still a Raptors lead by 12, and we see a really, really bad sequence from Steph Curry here as he helps off of the strong side corner off Danny Green to allow an open corner 3 for absolutely no reason. Then compounds that mistake by basically driving into 2 players where the Raptors were throwing at him all night. And trying to look for a Klay Thompson throwback here, but ends up getting poked away in a really bad turnover, and that led to the Raptors having the ball going the other way. Kawhi is now going to come off this ball screen and get trapped and find Ibaka on the short roll. Ibaka hits Lowry. Draymond Green and Iguodala do a good job of Xing out in their rotations, but because Danny Green just hit a three, Steph doesn't leave him in the corner, and that allows Ibaka to catch an easy dunk. The next possession, the Warriors trap Kawhi again. Marc Gasol is going to pick and pop and then make an extra pass to Lowry, who makes an extra pass right back to Gasol, who misses the wide open three, but Steph doesn't box out Danny Green, so Danny Green gets the rebound. On this reset, we see it involving Looney in a pick and roll with Siakam. Lowry's going to attack his outside shoulder. Siakam rolls right to the rim for the easy layup. The next possession, they allow Kawhi to go one-on-one, and all it takes is a little hesitation to go right by Klay and get fouled. The Warriors do a good job of actually cutting this to 8 after this relocate by Steph Curry, who catches and shoots off this little pin down from Bogut and Klay. Then, after cutting it to 8 with 3 minutes left, Draymond decides to put 2 hands on Pascal Siakam right in front of the refs and gets a foul called, putting Siakam on the free throw line and allowing the Raptors to get 2 easy free points. The next possession for the Warriors, we can see Steph attack and try to escape and shoot the air ball that we mentioned earlier. Then they put Steph in a pick and roll on the offensive end, hit Danny Green as the roll man, who finds Siakam for the mid-range jumper that essentially ends the basketball game. But we can't end it without showing this ridiculous clip from Kawhi as he's getting screened using his length to get the steal and essentially seal the victory for the Raptors.